Good morning, students. We are starting off with a new chapter, that is chemical effects of electric current. Moving on to the very first concept that we need to understand is what is static electricity. Static electricity, it is an imbalance of electric charges within or on the surface of a material. So there is difference in the charge either on the surface of the material or within the material, and these charges keeps on accumulating till it does not get a source for it to get discharged. When you remove synthetic or woolen clothes, you see sometimes a crackling sound is heard coming from them. This happens because woolen or synthetic clothes get charged when they are rubbed against the skin. This is known as static electricity. Now what is happening is the synthetic clothes or the woolen clothes, they are getting rubbed across the skin, because of which the transfer of charges is taking place. There is an imbalance in the charge that is being created. That's why whenever we remove the synthetic or woolen clothes, a crackling sound is heard. Static electricity was first observed by Thales, a Greek scientist, more than 2500 years ago. He noticed that when amber was rubbed with a piece of silk, it attracted tiny feathers towards itself. The static electricity, for the very first time, was observed by a person known as Thales. He was a Greek scientist. Amber is nothing but, it's a resin, it is obtained from plant. Okay. Now when amber was rubbed with a piece of silk, there was a transfer of charges that was taking place. Now the amber got charged, so it attracted the feathers towards itself. Since after rubbing onto the silk cloth, the amber obtained charge, or there was a transfer of charge that took place, it could easily attract the feather towards itself. Electric charges. There are two types of charges, that is positive charge and negative charge. Now the positive charge, how exactly a particular atom gets positive charge and negative charge, you will get to know when I explain to you about the structure of atoms. In the 18th century, an American scientist, Benjamin Franklin, realized that electricity is made up of two static charges which were named positive and negative charges. So each atom contains charged particle. Now when you look at the structure of an atom, in the center, this is a nucleus. This whole thing is a nucleus, and we see electrons are moving around in a definite orbit. Now in the nucleus, there is proton and there is neutron. Okay, and proton is positively charged, whereas neutron, it does not have any charge. So structure of an atom contains nucleus right in the center, and nucleus has got the presence of proton, which is positively charged, and neutron is neutron is neutral. And around the nucleus we have what is called as electrons. These are negatively charged. So when do I say an atom is uncharged or it is stable? When the number of protons and electrons are equal. It means if there are two number of protons in the nucleus, there should be two number of electrons. If there are three number of protons, there should be three electrons. Only when there is balance in the charge, that time we call the atom as stable, or it is uncharged. There is no charge. But if there is an imbalance in the charge, then the body can transfer the charge, as well as it has got a charge. So suppose if there is loss of electrons, what happens? When the electrons are lost, that time we see that the particular atom obtains positive charge. When electrons are lost, it obtains positive charge. When there is a gain of electron, it obtains negative charge. When more and more electrons are gained, it obtains negative charge. Remember this particular point. Atoms are called uncharged because they remain neutral due to equal positive and negative charges. I told you if there are 3 number of proton, there should be 3 number of neutron. So that time we call it as uncharged body or a neutral body, or we call it as the atom is stable. A charged body that is deficit in electron is said to be positively charged. So a positively charged body, what happens is it has got less number of electron, whereas negatively charged body has more number of electrons. A charged body having an extra electron is said to be negatively charged. Charging of bodies. How can we charge a body? Friction. When one body is rubbed on the other body, there is transfer of charges from one to another due to friction. Hence, rubbing of two bodies can create a negative and positive charges, and the electricity produced is called frictional electricity. Now, one body is rubbed against each other. Now, what happens? There is transfer of charges that is happening due to friction. So when the rubbing of the body is happening, or when rubbing of two materials is happening, one body gets a positive charge. That means it is losing electron. The other body is getting a negative charge. It means it is gaining electron. And one more important point. And the electricity produced is called frictional electricity. Because of the rubbing of two bodies, there is positive and negative charges that is created. And what is electricity? It is nothing but the flow of electrons. So, frictional electricity is being produced. Rubbing flannel over a glass rod charges the flannel negatively and glass rod positively. So, flannel is nothing but a fabric. So, when this flannel is rubbed over a glass rod, what happens? Flannel or the fabric gets a negative charge, whereas a glass rod obtains positive charge. Now, charging can also be done by conduction. When a neutral body touches a charged body, the charges get transferred to the neutral body. So, a neutral body is uncharged body. When it touches a charged body, what happens? The charges are getting transferred. In induction, when a neutral body is brought near the charged body, the electrons present in the neutral body are forced to move within it. This is called induced electricity. Now, induction, what happens? We are forcing the charges so that it gets transferred to the other body. Here, there is, in conduction, the charges are not forced. It gets transferred. Whereas in induction, the charges are being transferred. We see that the electrons from the neutral body are forced to be transferred into the other body. Now, charged body exhibits following properties called the fundamental laws of charges at rest. What are those two fundamental laws? There are two types of charges, namely positive and negative charge. A charged body attracts a neutral body. So there are two types of charges. One is positive, the other one is negative. And a charged body attracts a neutral body. Like charges repel and unlike charges attract. It means the positive and negative charges attract, whereas positive and positive will repel each other. Negative and negative will repel each other. It is only unlike charges that will attract each other. Next, moving on to electroscope, charging by conduction. You might be asked for 1 mark. Important question, what is an electroscope? So, electroscope is an instrument which is used to detect and test small charges. Okay, so here we see electroscope is nothing but an instrument or a device to find out the charge, to find out charges, what are the electric charges on small materials. So let's try to understand this with the help of the diagram. So over here we see this is an electroscope. Okay, this is an insulating glass case. Now why this insulating glass case is present, I will tell you. Now this is a long metal rod. There is actually at the bottom of this there is a metal plate, and attached to this metal plate is a metallic leaf. Right on top is a metal disc on which you place the material. Now when when a object has got positive charge and I placed a positively charged object over here, what happens? Now metal is usually positively charged. All the metals are positively charged. So the object that I place over here is also positive. Then what happens? Like charges and like charges will repel. So the leaf will move apart. If I place a negatively charged object over here, then what happens? The metallic leaves come close to each other. I'll repeat it once again. This is a metallic disc, okay, on which the object is placed. There is an insulating glass that is protecting this metallic leaf, and there's a metal rod, okay, and at the bottom of the metal rod there is a metal plate onto which the metallic leaves are placed. Now when I place a positively charged material over here, we see that the leaves are moving apart because the material is positively charged and the metallic leaf is also positively charged. That's why it moves apart. Now why do we need an insulating glass over here? To protect the metallic leaf from air distort or air disturbances, okay, so that we don't get any faulty result. That's why we see it is covered by a insulating glass case. So this is how the electroscope works. Electroscope is nothing but an instrument or a device that is used to find out the electric charges. Next, moving on to electric current and conductivity. Flow of charge is known as electric current or electricity. Okay, we see in an atom actually it is the electrons that are being transferred, right? Instead of flow of charges, I can also say it is nothing but the flow of electrons. Flow of electron is also known as electric current or electricity. Electricity is the most convenient and flexible form of energy. It can be generated, it can be stored, it can be distributed with comparative ease. It is very easy to generate it, store it and distribute it. More importantly, it can be readily be converted into other forms of energy such as heat, light, sound and mechanical energy. Electricity has many practical applications and has greatly changed the way people live. Many aspects of daily life depend on electric energy. People living in industrialized countries use numerous electrically powered devices every day. We know how electricity is very, very important in our day-to-day lives, right? So to light a bulb, we need electricity. Okay, so there are several things that plays a very important role. Electricity plays a very, very important role for running of machineries. You need electricity. So people living in industrialized countries use numerous electrical powered devices every day. Many materials, solids as well as liquids are able to conduct electricity. This phenomenon of conduction of electricity has many applications. The extent of conduction by a substance depends on the property and conductivity of the substance. See, there are solids and liquids also can conduct electricity. Now, to what extent it can conduct depends upon the nature of the material. Now, what are conductors and insulators? These are those substances which allow electricity to flow through them easily. Example, all metals. Graphite. Graphite is a non-metal. It's an exception. So, these allow the electricity to flow through it. Insulators. These are those material which do not allow electricity to flow through them. For example, rubber, wood, glass, plastic, air, etc. They do not allow the electricity to flow through them. Conduction in liquids. To be able to conduct electricity, a material must have large number of mobile electrons to carry electric current. It means it should have large number of free electrons. So a particular substance should have many free electrons, okay, to carry electric current. Some liquids also conduct electricity. Conductivity of water. Pure water or distilled water does not have any mobile electrons to constitute electric current, so it is an insulator. Now, either pure water or distilled water, why it cannot conduct electricity? Because there are no mobile electrons or free electrons, so that electricity can be transferred. But if some table salt is dissolved in water, the conductivity of water changes. Now, suppose to the same water, if I add table salt or a common salt, now what happens? It starts conducting electricity, because now once you add salt, there are a lot of free electrons that are being produced, and because of which we see the electric current is being conducted. Tap water has chemicals dissolved in it, so it can conduct electricity. Even tap water has got many dissolved substances or chemicals present in it, so even it can conduct electricity.